What's good, y'all? So back at it again, and we are looking at UFC 278, Usman versus Edwards 2. Now, I've looked at it a little bit, and this one is a very interesting card. So let's get right into it. Now, we got Daniel Da Silva versus Victor. I'm not gonna pronounce the last name. I really do not know anything about Victor, but from what I remember from Silva, he is a scrappy fighter. I believe he's like a more of a jiu-jitsu type fighter, which is last time I saw him, which I remember was he was giving some dangerous looks to his opponent, but his opponent was able to, I guess, stay out of that danger. But it doesn't mean that he is not dangerous whatsoever. This dude is serious and should be an interesting first fight to see, right? And just to keep you up to date, I may have skipped a couple fights where I don't think I have enough insight to speak on those fights. Right? So you might see one or two fights missing from this little breakdown. But on to the next one. Alright, now we got Amir Albazi versus Francisco Figueiredo. You don't know the Figueiredo brothers are quite the handful. For Amir, I'm not too sure on how I don't fully remember how he fights and things like that, but I do remember an element of danger from him. So I expect this to be another scrappy one. Again, I do not know where this fight would go, but I know either way, Francisco is dangerous. Probably mostly in the grappling sense, but he is dangerous. I can't specifically say, but I feel confident enough that, yeah, Figueiredo might get this one, but I think it's most likely going to be a decision. Alright, so on to the next one. We got Miranda Maverick versus Shauna Young. So out of the same situation, I am very familiar with Maverick, right? Shauna Young, I think she's actually new, and I remember only seeing her fight once. I haven't got a vivid mental picture of that, but I believe Maverick should be able to hold her down for the most part, I think. Again, I'm not too sure, but yes, I pick Maverick, but I don't really have a specific preference on who I like more. But I say Maverick. I think she'll just be able to put things together a little bit better and keep Young on her back foot. And then we go, no, this is what the MMA locals call a barn burner. No, this is really a style versus style thing. So it's either we're going to see Woodson keep range, right, and touch Saldana until he hurts him in some way, or just keep him at distance. Woodson's not a point fighter, but he delivers his strike in that type of way, but it's just that they really fucking hurt. So that's Sean Woodson's style. It's like that touch, once in a while throwing something devastating and maintain range, touch, and so on and so forth, right? So if it goes his way, I don't expect it to go to decision. It might be a third round finish. Might be a first round finish actually. Alright? Now Luis Saldana, I believe he is more of a well-rounded type fighter. And because of what and who Sean Woodson is, right, he's probably going to be doing mix-ups. So he goes in punches and then switches for a takedown. And I guess his goal would be to make Woodson think of the takedown when he's going to strike him, and make Woodson think of striking when he's going to go for a takedown. And just that general confusion is what he's going to be looking to capitalize on to bring the fight to places he wants to bring, right? So that is his tactic. He's trying to, I believe he's a pace fighter, so he's going to try to mix it up, get him confused, take him to different places, make him work just to move around, and eventually look to a TKO, but I don't think Sean Wilson's gonna be. He's not gonna wilt like that, right? So I think he's gonna like if it goes Louis Saldana way, he's going to have Woodson like a step behind him, and he's gonna stay that way until he gets the decision, right? But if I had to pick though, I pick Woodson. I would say Woodson is much more dangerous, and not to mention that Woodson is actually knowledgeable on the grappling game as well. So, not saying that I expect him to throw up a submission from the bottom if he gets taken down, but I think he knows enough to keep himself out of dangerous situations on the ground. Right? He just be able to neutralize the grappling offense. He may not be able to get back up, at least not immediately every time, but he should be able to neutralize the grappling offense off Saldana, right? And when they get up, it's back into Woodson's world. And I just think Woodson has a lot more opportunities. I think he has the IQ to like really put some damage on Saldana and make it a bad night for him. So Woodson, TKO or decision? Now, who we got next? Alright, so we got Leonardo Santos versus Jared Gordon, right? Veterans, tough motherfuckers. Right now, I don't think Gordon has a danger factor, as in, like, both fighters should be used to the weight class by now. Meaning, Santos is going to, Santos I think will up to strike, so will Gordon, but Gordon has to fight in. He has to fight to get into ring, but Gordon should be used to that by now. But I think Santos is going to be able to put it on him like well enough, and because Jordan is going to be at range, it's going to be really tough. So Gordon has to really use some type of tactics to really get himself into this fight. But I really will see him fighting from behind, so I don't know. But if I had to pick, it would be Santos. Santos maybe third round finish or decision. Yeah. And then we got Tybura versus Romanov. No. This is the thing about Tybura. He wins when he expected to lose, and he loses when he expected to win. It's kind of weird like that. I don't know. And plus he's fighting against Romanov, which is like, he goes by King Kong, and the dudes, I know the dude is tough and he has good grappling, bro. I don't know, man. I don't think Tybura has the threat level enough to really push Alexander back, right? It's going to be a really tough fight for him. If I had to pick a ground now, Tybura have an X factor that is super weird, so I can't really like count it. So Alexander, possibly a round 2 finish, maybe submission, TKO, knockout, one of those. But maybe I think in round 2. I know we got Tyson Pedro versus Harry Hunsucker. No, I do not remember much about him. I do not remember much about Harry, but Pedro, dude's legit. Striker, grappler, powerful dude. I can't say much other than even luck information. I'm pretty sure Pedro has this one down, right? It seems a bit reckless to say that, but I think Pedro's got this. Not sure it's gonna go because Pedro's coming off an injury, so I'm not sure which way it's gonna go. I don't know what weapons he's developed since he's been gone. Don't know, but all I know is that Pedro comes to win, and I think he will. I just don't know. Moving on, we got Wu Yanan versus Lucy Pudilova. Right? Heard of Wu Yanan, but I don't have anything in the memory banks vivid enough to determine. But Lucy, I don't know if she might be a little bit awkward personally, but she just looks like she has a darkness in her, like, and you see come on when she fights. I'm not sure what it's gonna be. Right? It's just gonna be one mean fight. Interesting one, but it's gonna be mean. Right? So I'm gonna leave it at that. And move on. And we got Jose Aldo versus Merab. So for those who have been watching, for those who haven't been watching, Merab, if you're familiar with fighters who get hurt but just still stay in the game no matter what, Merab is one of those guys. However, for some reason, I believe that Jose will somehow be that guy to knock Merab flat out. Right? I do not know why, but I just get that feeling. So tactic wise, I'm thinking Merab's goal is to similar to Louise and Woodson, right? Where Merab will be there to try to confuse Aldo with like mixing the strikes and takedowns, so get him thinking about takedowns when Merab's trying to strike, and get Aldo thinking about strikes when Merab's going to move takedowns, right? And he's going to just do that, mix it up. But the goal is to take him down to the ground and punish him for trying to move or trying to survive the entire fight and weaponize his pace, because obviously the Dvalishvili is a pace fighter, right? So that would be his goal. Aldo on the other hand is going to look to snipe him, right? He comes in and tries to do his thing, he's going to snipe him, knees, punches, all that type of stuff, right? Jose Aldo, although not for recent times, but back in the day, Jose was known to like be the kryptonite to wrestlers, where wrestlers would try to come in, they don't want to touch him in the striking, so what they do, they come in and try to wrestle, right? And that's a problem. There's a problem because if they can't get him down, they burn a lot of energy and they literally have to punch him. They have to try to punch him and they get punished for that. So, but I don't think he is, I know we say he's not as proficient as he used to be, but let's say that the wrestling offense has improved over the years, right? So, whether or not it's going to come here, I'm not sure, right? But I do get the feeling that Merab's going to be able to take him down because of how Aljamain Sterling dealt with Jan, right? Jan was that guy that they couldn't hold or take down, you see me? And Jan did some of those spectacular takedowns that he usually does against Aldo, right? So they just have different wrestling, so I'm thinking Merab is going to come with that wrestling, so I'm expecting Jose to defend one or two, but eventually the takedowns are going to hit and Aldo's going to be fighting off his back. And with that being said, Merab will most likely take this one, right? But I don't put it past Aldo to land something at some point, even if he's tired, and get Merab wobbly. But if I had to pick, it'll be Merab with possibly a third round TKO, but most likely decision. Yeah. Then we got co-main, Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold. Now I'm gonna just get right into it. Paulo Costa is looking like he's in his best form in a minute, right? And then we got Luke Rockhold, who has been out of the game for a while, and his previous stints of being in the game, he just racked up 3 straight losses. Out of the 5 losses he had, the 3 came in one after the other, and it was bad. So it's a thing where I was 2, because I think his third loss was against third. I think the third loss was against Bisping. He lost his title. Yeah, and he beat a guy that's not there anymore, and then he lost the two after that. He lost in the division, then he moved to heavyweight and lost that fight. Right, so yeah, so to his credit, he was on too, but it's like a thing where, like, you know how threatening he can be, right? Because here's a crux, right? Like, he came into the game as a striker, powerful striker, right? But he lost a few times by KO, right? And then out of nowhere, he said, "Yo," it's like he said, "I'm gonna do my ground and pound." And then he does his ground and pound, and you learn that he has one of the most destructive ground and pounds in the UFC, possibly still to this day, right? Only if you can argue that a few sit above him, but he probably has the most destructive ground and pound in the UFC. The problem is that a lot of these fighters, they know how to avoid that, right? And I bet you the last two fights, his strategy was, alright, I'm gonna take this dude down, I'm gonna beat his brains out, right? The problem is that he was never able to do that. And generally, what happens is that, like, they start fighting, so striking going, he might get touched a couple times, and then he goes in for the takedown, and multiple takedowns after that, but doesn't get anywhere, and then he just gets caught in the stand-up, and that's it. So I don't know. So if he tries it, I don't know if he'll be able to take Costa down. But what I'm hoping is, he did something in the striking, right? He improved something in the striking that helped him to get him out of trouble and to put people on the back foot, and that can get built into a takedown and ground and pound, in fact. But one thing to know is that if Lou gets you down, it's not going to be a good night, even just one time. Unless he can get right back up. If he gets you down, you're not going to love it. You're not going to have a good time. If you get taken down and you manage to get back up after some time, you won't be the same person. That's one thing. That's the credit to Luke Rockwood's ground and pound. You're gonna be missing a chunk of your brain when you get up there. That's it, man. But if I had to pick, it'll be Costa. I finished for Costa. Can't say which round, but I did finish for Costa. And then we got the main event. We got Edwards versus Usman, and boy, this one's a doozy. We got Leon, right? We got Leon. His last loss was against the champion himself, right? Ever since then, on top of being a striking dynamo, he has become a grappling mastermind, right? He has beat people in submission, knocked people out, right? And shown to hit people like a punching bag at will when he wants to, and devastating fashion, right? Polished it. And then we got Kamaru, which is basically, they're in the opposite but in the same place at the same time, where he was primarily a mastermind grappler, and with the help of Trevor, became a striking dynamo. You see me? Knocking people out and all that type of stuff, like regular basis, hurting people. So it's really one of those things where I can't say, like, how dangerous Usman is, but it's Leon, bro. And Leon, stylistically right now, is the most difficult matchup for him, right? Because if I'm looking at it like a certain way, you seem that there's a possibility. There is a possibility. There's a real possibility, right? People. If people heard this, they would probably get crazy. But there's a real possibility that Leon can somewhat neutralize Kamaru's wrestling, somewhat make it inefficient for him to try to wrestle, right? But at the same time, there will be some success, but it would use more energy than it would waste a lot of energy rather than gain, right? So at this level now is a thing where it might be mostly contested in striking, like how Kobe and Usman's fights were, right? Where it's mostly contested in striking, right? So if that's the case, I don't know, man. Like I know Usman got Trevor Woodman on his side, but Usman known to get touched, and Edwards has a lot of tactical in his fighting style, in his boxing. Dude, I don't know, man. I literally can't say who, right? It can be, when I think about it, it's super even, right? Unless Usman comes in with the stellar wrestling and shut him down worse than before, or as much as before, I should say. It's going to be crazy either way, right? It's going to be interesting if anybody can pull away from the other in any meaningful way, right? Because it feels so close in terms of skills, you see me? But I don't know, man. I literally cannot say. I literally can't say. I can't. But if I were to say who has more means to win, I'll say Usman, but it's not by much. So by default, I say Usman. I don't want to see Usman losing the title at the same time, but I want him to have success. You see me? I don't know, man. But the odds, I guess, would say Usman anyways, right? But it's just one of the things where you watch it, and whatever the result is, you enjoy the football. So just enjoy the fights, man. That's it.